Hello everyone, we are the BusyBodies project team. Our project team is made up of Avery Heid, Heather Hammond, Gurnani, Lacey Hutchinson, Neil Hunter, Nicole Greeson, and Todd Hedgcoth. Today we are pleased to present you with an analysis and recommendations for improvement of a young company called Unity Works Lighting. Unity Works Lighting was first founded in Akron, Ohio in 2018. They started with 10-man lighting crew at back office staff 1. Unity Works Lighting would first perform their first job in the Florida Panhandle at a Walmart retrofitting existing lighting. Now, since that time, Unity Works Lighting has provided lighting services across the entire United States, from a Lowe's in Alaska to grocery stores in Key West, Florida. Their growth has certainly been evident in their financial performance, posting revenues of $6 million with their 11-man personnel in 2019, $10 million in 2020, and then an estimated $12 million in 2021 with 40 lighting technicians and a back office staff of 12. You can certainly say Unity Works Lighting has made it through the pandemic. Now, whenever clients like Lowe's or Walmart need lighting service performed, there's two parts to performing every job. The first part is the lighting work itself, retrofitting existing lighting services, performing maintenance on those lighting services, or performing audits of the electrical and lighting systems themselves. The second part is the administrative work, or the project management, a package that makes Unity Works Lighting the complete package, and what we'll talk about in the rest of this presentation.
The second part of the work is the administrative part. When clients like Walmart engage in a big job, they ask for reports on the status of the work. They ask for accurate invoices for the hours worked and the expenses incurred. Sometimes they ask for photos to be taken of each completed piece of work to confirm the work was done correctly.
Most lighting technicians are motivated by performing the electrical work itself, not by writing up reports, not by tracking hours, or taking photos of completed work to prove to the client that the work has been properly performed. Rather than forcing lighting workers to do something that they're not motivated to do, or perhaps they're not good at, Unity Workers has a team of project managers that track, report, and manage, and they're good at it. Unity Works enables both the technicians and the project managers to do what they do best every day, which according to the Gallup organization leads workers being 6 times as likely to be engaged in their jobs and more than 3 times as likely to report having an excellent quality of life in general. Unity Works uses this unique job design as a selling point when it's recruiting its lighting technicians. This company gives a degree of enhanced bargaining power with suppliers. Since the back office functions are so critical to the success of Unity Works, our team decided to analyze one of the most critical back office functions as its focal business process, payroll. The payroll process is critical to Unity Works since it ensures that the lighting technicians in the field are compensated properly for the time for any out-of-pocket expenses that they incur. And if they travel, the company pays a travel per diem. Since the payroll data is the basis for company billing, it's critical that customers can trust this data to be accurate. Any inaccuracies in the data reflect poorly on UnityWorks in the eyes of their customers and the lighting technicians themselves.
As seen in the graphic, the contractor crew leads record the time on behalf of technicians in the field. The crew leads report the work hours reported to the project manager in charge of that job. After the project manager has reviewed the hours, they submit the approved hours to the payroll manager at the home office. The payroll manager calculates any relevant expenses, per diems for out-of-town projects, mileage to reimburse driving people to a job site, deductions or advances made to the worker that needs to be repaid, or reimbursements for expenses. She then submits the time and expenses to be paid to the payment vendor. The payment vendor for UnityWorks is CoAdvantage. They were a professional employer organization, PEO, which means they handle the payment of the UnityWorks employees along with processing insurance benefits and tax withholdings. After CoAdvantage prepares the initial payroll in their system, the UnityWorks payroll manager makes any corrections and releases the corporate wire payment from UnityWorks to CoAdvantage. CoAdvantage then disperses the payments to Unity workers, either in the form of a direct deposit into the worker's banking account, and if the worker has no bank account, a credit is given to the worker's pay card. After workers are paid, the payroll manager allocates the relevant costs, payroll, and expenses to the appropriate job on UnityWorks general ledger. And that is the end of the UnityWorks payroll process. To execute the payroll process just described, UnityWorks uses several different information systems. The first system is an enterprise resource planning, or ERP system, called Sage Service Operations, or SSO. UnityWorks uses SSO to assign jobs to individual technicians. Crew leads use the system to enter time for their technicians who clock in and out of their job on the job sites. Crew leads also use SSO to upload any pictures from their shift. Information from technicians in SSO is sent to another ERP called the Sage 100 Contractor System. The payroll managers use Sage 100 to run a weekly payroll report. She enters data from this report manually into an Excel spreadsheet, which I'll explain in a moment. The payroll manager also processes payroll reports in Sage 100 Contractor to properly allocate labor job costs and post these values to Sage 100 General Ledger System. Microsoft Excel tracking sheet is used by payroll managers to monitor the time from technicians. The Excel spreadsheet has formulas built into it that match the pay structure. CoAdvantage 360. Finally, data from the Excel spreadsheet is entered manually into CoAdvantage 360, the portal for CoAdvantage, the professional employer organization, PEO I mentioned previously. CoAdvantage then processes the payroll data and disperses payments to the employees, either through a direct deposit in the worker's banking account or a credit to the worker's pay card by UnityWorks for workers that do not have a banking account.
Those in the information systems world have a tried and true saying, don't pave cow paths. The cow paths in this analogy are the business processes. The paving is the automation. To translate, don't automate bad processes. In keeping with this saying, the BusyBodies team started by examining the business process itself to see if it could be improved. What we found is that the business process itself was pretty solid. UnityWorks could enhance the process by establishing performance metrics and tracking them on a regular basis. We recommend that UnityWorks implement the following metrics to measure quality, timeliness, and cost with regard to the payroll process. Again, we did not find much redundancy in the payroll process itself, such as multiple employees checking and double checking the same data. A more thorough review of the payroll process may show more points for improvement. However, we considered the process itself to be pretty solid and solid enough to automate. In other words, the UnityWorks payroll process is not a cow path. It's ready for automation. As you can see in the diagram, some of the primary systems that UnityWorks uses in the payroll process do not work together. In particular, there are no automated data integrations or interfaces between the Sage 100 contractor system and the CoAdvantage 360 system. As a result, the payroll process relies on a great deal of manual data entry to transfer the data from one system to another. Because human beings make mistakes, especially when they're overworked or bored, manual data entry lends itself to human error. As we mentioned before, UnityWorks aims for complete accuracy in both its client invoices and in its payments to its employees. In other words, accuracy in its information is considered a critical success factor for UnityWorks. This manual data entry makes the payroll process very slow. The payroll manager at UnityWorks indicates that she sometimes spends over 20 hours per week processing payroll. In doing so, she must review the time and expense data for each employee line by line every time there is a payroll. As the number of lighting jobs and the number of employees grows, the payroll process gets longer and longer. In other words, the process without automation is not scalable with the growth of the organization. Either more resources will need to be assigned to payroll, or it will take longer, or both. Therefore, BusyBodies is investigating technical solutions that could reduce or eliminate the manual data entry and data quality checking in the payroll process. Our technology recommendations have been structured according to the process itself. Let's walk through the payroll process briefly and review the technology recommendations for each step. The initial time and mileage data is submitted on the Sage Service Operations System, which is also used by the project managers. In other words, that step of transferring the data from the field to the project managers is already fully automated. Therefore, we have no technical recommendations for improvement there. After the project managers review and approve the work time and drive time, they submit the data to the payroll manager. This step is also fully automated since both parties are using the same system, the Sage 100 contractor system. In order to perform data quality checks and calculations, the payroll manager manually builds an Excel spreadsheet from the payroll data she sees in the Sage 100 contractor system. Rather than entering data into an Excel spreadsheet, we recommend using an existing technology solution called Liberty Reports. Liberty Reports is a third-party vendor which specializes in producing reports and data extracts from the Sage 100 contractor system. Rather than building an Excel spreadsheet manually, Liberty Reports can produce a file containing the payroll data. The payroll manager currently uses the Excel spreadsheet to perform data quality checks and calculations for which she has built formulas built into her Excel spreadsheet. Rather than continuing to perform these data quality checks and calculations manually, we recommend developing some technology modules to automate these checks and calculations. To develop these technology add-on modules, we recommend engaging a third-party technology developer since UnityWorks does not have its own internal IT development department. We identified one such third-party developer called EI Dynamics, which has extensive experience with the Sage 100 contractor system. EI Dynamics has several existing payroll modules for the Sage 100 contractor system. These modules can be used to perform automated data quality checks and calculations so the payroll manager does not have to. These modules include the employee calculations module and the payroll records module. One of the most striking inefficiencies in the process is the method by which UnityWorks transfers payroll data from the Sage contractor system to the payment vendor system, CoAdvantage 360, which sends out the actual payroll payments to employees. Currently, the payroll manager manually enters the data she sees on an Excel spreadsheet into the CoAdvantage 360 portal. The ideal solution here would be an automated interface between the Sage 100 contractor system or one of the add-on technology modules we've specified into the CoAdvantage 360 system. However, based on discussions with UnityWorks and our own research into CoAdvantage 360, CoAdvantage does not seem to be technically able to ingest a data file. That is why their clients must enter the payroll data manually today. Even though the ideal solution is not available, we recommend accomplishing the data transfer through automated scripting tools, such as those available from a third-party technology called RoboForm. Automated scripting tools are programs which emulate human actions, such as logging into a computer system and entering data into a system. The tool is designed to read from a data source, such as a data extract file or a spreadsheet, and would enter data as a human being would through the system screens or the user interface. The RoboForms tool would be a setup to log into the CoAdvantage 360 portal and enter the rows of payroll data found in the data file using the same screens as the payroll manager does today. These automated scripting tools are also configured to report any problems that are experienced. For example, if there's a problem with entering payroll data for a particular employee, that will be reported to the payroll manager on an exception report. Consequently, the payroll manager will spend her time dealing only with exceptions rather than with every single record of data being processed. The remaining steps in the payroll process involve the payroll manager reviewing and correcting the initial trial payroll from the CoAdvantage 360 system. Since we have recommended data quality checks upstream in the process, we've concluded that this final review is an appropriate task to be performed by the payroll manager and does not require automation.
The BusyBodies project team has enjoyed putting together its presentation and analysis of the UnityWorks lighting. We would like to especially thank UnityWorks Lighting for its cooperation over the past several weeks. They have been an excellent client to work with. We also thank you for taking the time to watch our video and hope you've enjoyed our presentation. We look forward to receiving your questions, comments, thoughts on our analysis, our findings, and our recommendations. Thank you.